Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about testing a claim about a proportion. This comes from Chapter 8, Section 3 of our Triola textbook. Alright, if you'll go with me to page 421, then you'll notice we have this problem, guns in the home. And it reads, in a Gallup poll of 1,003 randomly selected subjects, 373 said that they have a gun in their home. The accompanying mini-tab display shows results from a test of the claim that 35% of homes have guns in them. So when we plug our data into mini-tab, we want to have an output that looks very much like this. Alright, let me show you a Word document that we use in my on-campus class. Now this gives you the requirements for testing a claim about a proportion. It gives you the important steps and the questions that you need to ask yourself. It gives you the way to find the z-score if you're having to do this by hand, and then it gives you some important information about whether you reject or fail to reject your null hypothesis. Alright, as you come over onto the right side of this form, you'll notice that I've listed the calculator steps, and this works with the TI-84 calculator. Now, to use mini-tab, I've listed the steps here exactly in order, and if you follow each of these steps, you should come out with the outcome that you saw listed on number 6 in your textbook. So if you'd like to, pause the video for just a moment and copy these steps down. Now let's go back and look at the problem once again. In this problem, we are given the number 1003, the number 373, and then 35%. Those are the three main things that we need to know to plug into mini-tab. Alright, as we go to mini-tab, we're going to go to Stat. We're going to go to Basic Statistics, and then we're going to come down to our one proportion, and that's going to give us a table with several things that we need to plug in. Alright, let's go back and look at our Word document. We've done Stat, we've done Basic Statistics, and we've done our one proportion. Alright, I'm going to make this small and see if I can take it over to the side so we can see what our steps are as we go through this. Alright, we're here at number 4, and it says to choose one or more samples if you have the data. Now for us, we don't have the data. If we did, we'd actually plug it into the different areas on our chart. But we have the actual numbers. We actually know what the summarized data is. So we're going to choose summarized data, and then we've got to use those three numbers from the book, the 1003, the 373, and the 35%. Alright, when we go back to our mini-tab and we go back to our Word document, for the summarized data, we're actually going to put in the smaller number first. That's going to be our number of events, and that actually means the number of events or the number of successes. So from our text, we had 373, and then the total number of trials was 1003. Now then you want to perform your hypothesis test, and you've got to use the percentage that you're given, which for us was 35%. Now then, let's consult the Word document again. So we're going to put in our proportion, which we have 35%. We're going to choose options, and we're going to put in 95%. Since we've not been given another one, we're going with the 95%. Now then, the next thing on your Word document is to put in either not equal to, less than, or greater than. And it depends on whether this is a one-tailed test or a two-tailed. Now for ours, let's go back and look at the wording. This says that it's the results from a test of a claim that 35% of the homes have guns in them. That's a two-tailed test. And if you need a little more help on the two-tailed and one-tailed, we can go over that at a little later date. Alright, so we're choosing not equal to because it's a two-tailed test. And then we're going to come down and we're going to use normal approximation, because what we're doing here is we want it to approximate the binomial distribution. Alright, so when we say OK, OK, this is the output that we get. Now let's see if I can make our book come up and show us that output also. And let's see if they match. It's a really little tiny one, but it says the test of p is equal to 0.35 versus p is not equal to 0.35. We have an x of 373, which we have there. N is 1003, which we have there. And then our sample p is 0.371884, which is the same here. And then we have our critical interval, which is the same thing. And our z-value is 1.45 and our p-value 0.146. So we did it correctly. And just to reiterate, if you wrote down the steps for this, which I always like to have a plan, it's much easier if you have the steps to follow. You're going to choose stat, basic statistics, one proportion. You're going to choose one or more samples or summarized data, and for us we chose summarized data because we were given the important numbers to plug in. And then as we come down to number 5, it tells us exactly which of those numbers to plug in. We want to remember that the first number we plug in is the smaller number because that's the number of successes out of the larger number, which is the total. You're going to perform your hypothesis test, and you're going to use 95% here unless you want something that's a little more significant at a 0.99 level, or if you want something that's not quite as significant for a 0.90 level. Then you have to decide, is it a one-tailed test, for which you would use either less than or greater than, or is it a two-tailed test, for which you would use not equal to. And then you're going to use normal approximation, because for us, they either had a gun or they didn't. That's a binomial distribution. And then we're going to choose OK, OK, and come out with this output. Alright, take just a few minutes. Make sure that you read through these steps, and then try this on your own. Good luck!